Hi, I'm Francois Jensi, and I'm here at Hempstead Assemblies of God, and we are here with Leslie Latona, a missionary from Colombia who just delivered a very, very powerful word, and we were excited, and we just have a couple of questions for her. Leslie, Pastor Leslie, we wanted to know, how long have you been a missionary in Colombia?
22 years.
22 years. That's a very, very long time. And what would you say is the best part about being a missionary, specifically in Colombia?
Wow. The best part of being a missionary is that you live in a whole other culture. You experience so many different things, and you see God move in ways that I would never see probably if I was here in the U.S. Colombians have such great faith. It's amazing. So that's probably the greatest thing about being a missionary in Colombia.
That's awesome because it's important for us to move and grow from faith to faith, right? You know, and so as a missionary, I'm pretty sure that you get that encouragement as you see other people's faith. It grows your faith, right? That's pretty awesome. That's so awesome. Another thing we wanted to ask you, as you're seeing those things, as you're seeing things happen and God moving in Colombia and you're moving from faith to faith, I'm pretty sure there are challenges. So I wanted to say, what are some of the toughest challenges being in a Spanish-speaking country? Because I know you didn't always speak Spanish. But so what would you say is some of the toughest challenges you had being a missionary in a Spanish-speaking country?
Yes, right there, the language, because language is culture. So if you're tired, maybe you didn't hear something right, you're trying to understand, and it just, so sometimes things get mixed up or missed messages. And the culture there, like I've been called the night before, Saturday night at like 9 o'clock, can you come preach in the morning at our church? And I'm like, let me pray about that. Let me see if I got a message. And actually, believe it or not, I've said yes a few times. I feel like God said, go and do it. So sometimes it's last minute. Sometimes you could go somewhere and they're like, okay, our missionary's going to get up and speak. And I'm like, oh, I am? Okay. So sometimes the culture is last minute.
Right.
And just, come on, let's go and let's do it. And so sometimes that can be a little challenging.
I get that, but it's almost like Moses when God said that he'll be his mouthpiece, right?
Yes.
So it's like amazing to see like the word of God come to life in the things that missionaries are doing. You said something about the culture, right? So I wanted to know, how long would you say it took you to integrate into the culture of Colombia? Because it's hard to preach to people, to talk to people without speaking the same language. And language is not, like you said, it's not just merely saying the words that they understand, but understanding the context of it, understanding what it means. It's almost like when a grandmother says something in Spanish, it means something so much more than the literal translation. So how long did it take you to integrate in the culture, then use that to your advantage to spread the gospel?
Yes, good question. Wow, I feel like I'm still learning the whole culture. It's like you just feel like you just never really quite fit in because you are, from the U.S. and grew up in the U.S. So it's been a process, but there came a time, I would say after a good 3 years there maybe, where I kind of started to feel like, okay, we're getting this. And yes, and in the Latin culture too, when you get into a family, it's like they're very family oriented. So when you get into a family, you're part of that family. So it's trying to establish those friendships and those families, and where do I kind of belong and where do I fit into these families? So that took a while.
That's awesome. And Pastor Chris always says that God values relationships. So it's very important to see that, and it's good to see that even in missionaries, as you're over in Colombia, that those relationship building, this still serves as a platform for you to serve and minister the gospel. So one last question before we leave. How, as us as a church, the churches here, Hempstead Assembly of God, how can we support missionaries? If you could let us know, look into the camera and let us know.
Okay, so to support missions, first of all, pray. We need your prayers. I cannot tell you how many times I knew people were praying, especially during COVID when we were only allowed out 1 day a week for 5.5 months. Oh my goodness, I was like, it's only the prayers of people. I know it's the prayers and the grace of God. So number one, praying, and then number two, giving. Giving to missions financially, because missionaries don't get paid, It's all volunteer, so we go on what we get from offerings from the churches, from individuals here in the U.S., and that's how we live for the next 4 years on the mission field. So praying and giving are the biggest ways to help missionaries.
So you heard it here. Praying and giving. We need your prayers, and we need you to give, whether it be monetary or whether it be with supplies. We need you to give because they're doing amazing and great work, and we need the word of God to be spread, the gospel of Jesus Christ to be spread, not just in Colombia, but throughout all the world.
Amen.
So everybody can hear and experience the love of Jesus Christ. So until next time, I'm Francois Gency, and this is Hempstead AG. Have a good one.